And we're live. Sorry about the delay. Normally I like to start at the top of the hour. Again, starting a little earlier, have some do. But I don't know. I think I need to upgrade Mac OS to Mac OS 26. I'm still using, I believe, Sequoia right now, which I think is 15.6. In any case, just in a situation where I am unfortunately the indexing, because I actually put tags, color tags on images I want to use, and they're not working. So I don't like that. All right, just popping this live stream link in one more spot. Hopefully everyone's had a great weekend. A lot of things to talk about. So for those who don't know what the stream is for, basically this is me doing my weekly job, co-founder at Beacon DeFi, where we do DeFi education. We help onboard people into blockchain investing safely and securely. We've done so for tens of thousands of people in the last 4 years. And this is for the newsletter we put out to our membership. All right. If you'd like to support, you're more than welcome to. You can head to my Twitter, which is at C Soriano. Of course, this is also powered by X co-host. Shout out to them. And you can buy my token. Actually, if you're watching me on retake.tv, hello to all the retakers out there. And let's get going. All right, so I need to share my screen, as I always do. Let's get into the news. A lot of Treasury company news today. That's probably the one thing that has really kind of stood out. Got CDW for Chainlink, and some Avalanche news as well. That, to me, that was the surprising one. From Anthony Scaramucci, former White House staffer. Now a moment of time, if I'm not mistaken, because I believe he lasted 10 days in the last administration, which I believe is a record. All right, 1 second. Allergies, man. Allergies. All right, we'll start with this one. What is this? A whale suddenly withdraws 122 million in Hypecoin. Well, if this hype was bought 9 months ago, we bought it it launched at $2. Oh, would you all to 2.39 million hype they bought? I mean, yeah, Arthur Hayes did sell. I didn't know Ansem sold. Oh, I didn't realize that Arthur sold. Yeah, that's right. He sold his entire. After saying that, he believed that hype was going to do 126x this cycle. It probably still, honestly, it probably still will. I mean, for them to be still looming around $50 even after that, it'll be fine. They'll be fine. I mean, you have Aster out there helping with the cause. All right, so this is AgriForce. This is the publicly traded company. I'm going to grab this one because Blockworks wrote it. They always have decent articles. So basically, they're going to be, so as a publicly listed company, they're going to rebrand as AVAX One, and with a, looks like this will be a PIPE, private investment and private equity, with AVAX as the treasury coin. Matt Zhang, the nominated chairman, describes him as a Berkshire Hathaway for the on-chain economy. Yep, they're doing a PIPE. Oh, 300 million in PIPE. So 250 is coming from additional equity linked financing. And that's where he comes in, right? Mm. I mean, it's great for Avalanche, right? Hopefully they can figure out the sauce to get value capture back into the AVAX token. And I say that as someone who was buying AVAX at $135 a token way back when. It can get back up there. I mean, there just needs to be some things that probably need to happen, which are way past my mental capacity right now. Looks like market structure bill, which is for the Clarity Act, is going to get bipartisan support. That's good to find out. Really? Hydration now has their own. Why you got to call it holler? Maybe it catches on. Maybe it catches on. All right, it's decentralized. It's maintained through. It's pegged to $1. It's going to be through over collateralization, meaning you have to put in more than a one-to-one collateralization to mint it, and advanced stability mechanisms. Oh, it is built on top of Aave's GHO stablecoin. I mean, that's good. That's good. Oftentimes, it's good to not try and reinvent the wheel. Hydration is a pretty decent app and parachain, so excited to see where this goes. I mean, Dot definitely needs to kind of get a move on, right? At least in the sense of public sentiment. Nothing wrong with them as a project. They've got great people, very smart, brilliant people who work at Polkadot. They also throw great events. All right, so market's it's kind of cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs right now. We're going to see what Bitmine does here, because their goal is to own 5% of the total supply. That's what BMNR wants to do. Obviously, we've had a big sell-off to help them with that mission. That's all I'm going to say about that. He did not. No. I mean, he's not wrong. This will be the first true test for hype moving forward with a very large unlock. And I think the team is still Clift. I haven't looked deeply into it. I mean, calling it a decentralized Binance at this stage is a little bit of a reach. Still working on the decentralization. We'll see how that goes. All right, so today, at 8 a.m. Eastern, actually, Plasma launched their blockchain. Those you don't know, I believe it's from Bitfinex, the CEX, and it is a USDT focused blockchain. So their neobank is now open. We'll go ahead and take this one. I'm sure there's a better one out there because it's fine. We'll use CoinDesk's. I'll probably just go straight to Plasma for the actual article. Let's see if we can find some other news because it was a fairly slow news week this past week and over the weekend, to be quite honest. All right, so Stable also kind of made some news. Okay. This is not the Stable I was looking for, but we'll see what PayPal does here with this news. Synthetics returning to ETH-L1 with a new perp DEX with an optimistic order book design. All right, tell me more, Bankless. This is the first I've heard of it, actually. So what did Kane say? It's nice that Kane and the group at Bankless can still talk after the fight. It wasn't that serious. David looked great, by the way, at the fight. I was there actually for it. Now that I think about it, I was like, oh yeah, I was there for that because it was in Salt Lake City about a year ago, actually. Yeah. So I mean, if you think about what's happening with Hyperliquid, approaching 3 billion in TVL with Core, everybody's now on there. There's a couple trains that are leaving the station now, right? Perp Dex is being one. I mean, it has been since Hyperliquid's kind of been running with it for the last year. Prediction markets, and then AI. Those are the three outside of the normal hustle and bustle of meme coins and NFTs that have been going on for the past 18 months. Those three are supremely hot right now, right? So with Aster coming out last week and that getting pushed to the moon by CZ, a lot of people, talking about how, this 6x in Aster, right? You're like, oh, yeah, we'll see what happens. All right, let's move on. I think I need more caffeine because that was not a very good take on that. I apologize. Everyone's still buying. Yep. Is the XRP price going to crash after falling below $3 again? No. Not if every Uber driver I know has something to say about it. Same thing with Pi. I mean, shout out to all of you who buy Pi. I don't have anything for you there. Obviously, DPIN is DPIN. I do hope that you guys are mining towards a better future with your phones. But yeah, I mean, I've seen kids in high school try to mine Pi to ridiculous efficiency. We'll see what happens. UAE announced to roll an automatic crypto tax reporting system by 2027. This is interesting. So the CARF, the Crypto Asset Reporting Framework. This means everybody leaves Dubai. Well, I mean, does anyone want to be audited? To be quite honest, I don't want to be audited. Who does? Interesting. Right. So, I mean, this may be a hot take. There are a lot of people in crypto who don't want to tell the governments how much they're really making. Why? Because DeFi is not owned by a country, right? That's like the allure of being in Web3. It's non sovereign. No one country owns all of the stuff that was built because no country participated in it, right? That's the beauty of this statement that Eric Voorhees, which I, frequently rip, saying that this system was built by the hands of many without spending one penny of taxpayer dollars anywhere around the world. That's absolutely true. And that's why most governments hate it. And for the most part, you could try and regulate the hell out of it like the Biden administration tried to do, or you could embrace it like President Trump's administration has done. And guess what? They've got a lot of skin in the game, right? Let's be honest. They're making a ton of money. I mean, even though he didn't understand it, President Trump in his first term, was his first term? Was his first term? Anyway, when he made $100 million off of the NFTs of him on ETH, I'm sure that was a good wake up call for him. I mean, there was no secret that that was a catalyst for, oh, there might be something here. Of course, he made $100 million in NFTs. Why wouldn't he? And that led to all the talks that led to what we have now, which is World Liberty and all of this other stuff that's starting to kind of be thrown around. We have American Bitcoin mining, right? That's, I think, is the name of the company that's going to be coming to the forefront. Then you've got Eric Trump becoming a board member at, was it Metaplanet? Calling for Bitcoin to go to $1 million. I mean, sure, but the one thing that DeFi has, besides the ability to be somewhat anonymous, is transparency, because everything on the blockchain, on most blockchains, is public. There's no data tying your wallet to who you are unless you give signals. But overall, the idea here is that being in a system where you publicly, or rather you identify yourself to the government through KYC, which is know your customer, that seems to be a trade-off for privacy in most of these spots. Like if you want to do a private blockchain, or if you want to participate in a private blockchain, you have to KYC. If you want to onboard money into DeFi, into buying crypto assets or digital assets, you have to KYC. So there is a trade-off here, but I mean, I'll be honest, most people I know that have a metric shit ton of money in this space don't want to report most of it. Why? Well, I think you know why. I'm not going to say it, but yeah, I mean, this will be interesting to see how transparent this makes things, right? But we'll see. I will grab this because it might be interesting for somebody who's curious about it. The Coinbase data leak exposes. No, really, 69,000 customers. Is that that can't be the exact number? All right, we'll move on. More buying, more buying. So in 5 years, Deutsche Bank will have gold and Bitcoin on their central bank reserve balance. Well, too bad you sold the 50 million Bitcoin you had, or rather, you let Saxony, whatever the province is, sell it. You had a bunch there you could have just taken. All right, let's see. Let me put on. I normally have music for this. Let me do that. And it's StreamYard based music. So Daydreaming, I believe, is the one we like. There we go. Just let me know if it's too loud. This is important for BTC Fi. I'll take a look at this. I'll take a look at this in a little bit. Why is crypto down today? Well, it is Monday. Really? Well, good for them. I don't know what they're educating there at Giggle Academy, but hopefully it's good. XRP holders can now earn excuse me, can earn up to 8% through new liquid staking token. Well, what did Midas do here? MXRP, that was announced. This is announced today. So it's going to be on the XRPL side chain on EVM. I mean, that's fine. To all you builders out there, reach out to me. I want to know what you're building on the EVM side chain, because frankly, there's nothing right now. I mean, I can't say that. There are a couple of protocols out there. They're not great in terms of volume in TVL, and to me, that just, I mean, is the problem with XRP that people who buy XRP don't want to sell it? I mean, if anything, guys, if DeFi's taught you anything, if DeFi has taught you anything, it's the idea that you can have your money work for you while you hold it. Because trading and stuff is more of a PvP style event. And one thing we talk about at Beacon is the idea of you profiting off the behavior of other investors. So if that's something that is attractive to you, look at things like this. Liquid staking. Generally with liquid staking, what you're doing is you're helping out with the security of the network, because it helps with, I'm hoping in this case, it's a validator thing. So you're actually getting a marker token while helping to help secure the network from a consensus standpoint. And then if you ever want to profit or cash out your position, you do have to wait some time because there is an unstaking and a cool down process. But earning 8% on your money for something you were just going to hold for 5 to 10 years, not a bad deal. Better than the zero it would earn just being in your wallet. So keep that in mind. A lot of longs got liquidated. Yes. More live streaming tokens, and then this is the thing. Just to make it known, I'm considering live streaming on pump.fun. What I don't like, it's a little bit of a walled garden, meaning you can only live stream on pump.fun. I'm more of a restreamer. Shout out to retake.tv, of course, for allowing me, same to Abstract for allowing me to live stream, and Twitter for allowing me to live stream to all 3 places at once. I would prefer to also do that with pump.fun, but I get it. They want to try and keep everything within PumpSwap and their decks and whatnot. So There's been a lot of news. Like if you heard about the gentleman who raised like 32K for cancer costs, uh, and then get exploited by this absolute. I don't think there's a word to describe the ridiculousness of leaving your credentials in what you're using to exploit in a plain text file. I mean, obviously, people have tracked him and his partner down there in Miami and have reported him to ICE. And we'll see exactly how the masked men deal with him. But and her, who I don't know. So a lot of people are curious about this creator fee stuff. So it's all based on how many people buy your token, even if they flood it into the ground. I mean, volume is volume, right? It's not great for your token, obviously, but for some people, like I think Alex Becker came and raised like 300K in a couple of hours, and then token dumped, moved it back to YouTube and continued the grind. I don't know. I was just like, wow, that's very interesting. For me, I actually have actual purpose with whatever token I create to put out there. It's all going to be in the name of DeFi financial literacy, DeFi education, DeFi onboarding, because what we do here in DeFi, it's the future, right? Banks know this. That's why they're doing what they're doing. That's why Coinbase is getting all of these wonderful partnerships. They're partnering with the New York Stock Exchange. I mean, elements of DeFi are going to be everywhere. Look at Polymarket now. They have a partnership with Twitter, the official prediction market of Twitter. So, and that's a Polygon based project. So elements of DeFi are definitely the future. Hyperliquid is going to be huge. Everything's moving in such an interesting direction. We'll see how much of a mobile forward type of look this is going to be, because I think right now the issue is just trying to get to where people are. So I'm hoping with the project I'm kind of working on when we launch the Pump.Fund token for it will helping with my vision. Because right now, my company, we work on DeFi education, like helping you understand how to become a competent DeFi investor. My goal with this project is not that; it's actually further up the chain. Most people in this world have very bad financial literacy. So while it's good to have diversity in your portfolio, even understanding the whole idea of that's not shit they teach you in high school anymore. Not that they ever did, right? But the ability for you to save money in an environment where this system is rigged against you from the beginning. And I'm not talking about kids who've made tens of thousands of dollars on Call of Duty skins or something like that, or all the kids who are betting on Solana casinos and making money back on the backside. Yeah, I know about all that. Don't worry, I'm not saying anything. But yeah. I mean, we need better education on how to manage it, right? And I feel like I've done a very good job at helping many people so far. The job is to get to the millions more out there who don't realize that there's more to there's you can control your financial journey. You can have a say in how that works, and we can show you those tools. Shout out to Jaspreet from Minority Mindset. Really kind of awoken something inside of me with something he said that most working people work 9 to 5 for a salary. Most rich people work somewhat 9 to 5 for assets that work for them regardless. Your salary is not going to work for you. It's going to go out and get spent and burnt buying groceries at ridiculous prices, consuming all of these things that aren't giving you additional money back in your investments. We can help educate you on that. We really can. And I'm hoping that this project that I'm looking to bring forward will help with that. And then once you're ready, come into DeFi. See the future of finance. See what you can do. Have your money work for you in a savings account that earns way more than that terrible savings account that your bank has. Anyway, I'm waxing too much. Let's go. Yeah. So what's interesting here is that we had a rate cut announced last Wednesday, right? And a lot of people were saying it was a sell the news event. And frankly, they were clearly right for this weekend at least. But there's the hope of 2 more rate cuts coming this year based on, some initial thoughts. I have been on the record since early this year on our podcast where I said we'll get probably 125 bips cut in September, which we did, and we'll probably get a 50 in November or something like that, which I still think we're going to get. So we'll see what happens here, right? Chairman Powell is a data-driven guy. His people are data-driven people. So we'll see specifically how that moves. Oh, my allergies. I took medicine and I'm all just congested. I apologize, guys. 1 second. Unfortunately, StreamYard does not show me my chats, so let me just double check here. Oh, I've got people here in my retake chat. Hey, shout out to all the people in retake chat. I'm thinking about, because I do quite a bit of content, whether it be research, whether it be React streaming. I've been doing some of that, but that's kind of gotten some traction. Game streaming, restreaming our podcast, and my free weekly community training on Fridays to help people learn more about decentralized finance. Thinking about if you hold my token to on retake to kind of a say into what I do during the week. So I'm just thinking of ideas. There's news that Crypto.com had they took over a customer service account and were looking to leak data, but it was never any useful user data, I guess the word I would use. I don't know, but they said it's not. They said it's unfounded. Oh, this was just. I thought this was earlier this year. That was for Coinbase. A lot of this too, guys, and this is why we say whenever you're doing things, have different. For good OPSEC or operational security, use a different email. Please do not use the same email that you use for a CEX that you use for your personal stuff. That's not a good play. And if that is the case, you get a new email that you use for personal things. Honestly, you want to try and segment as much of your investment stuff as possible. Impact was limited on this quote unquote hack, and they had exposure of limited PII, which it is what it is. I mean, most customer most customer service platforms for things like this should have very little data anyway. But that doesn't mean that it doesn't happen often. I still get I'm just looking at my text messages. I still get 2 or 3 every day, saying, "Oh, you requested this withdrawal," Guys, you got to know that all that is not true. Number one, don't use SMS as your second factor. Use something like, at the very least, a TOTP or a one-time password thing like Authy, not Authy, but Google Authenticator, stuff like that. You should be using like passkeys, in my personal opinion. That's what I personally use. That's the main reason why I came back to Apple, because they have embraced a lot of differential privacy and a lot of privacy-focused things like passkeys and stuff like that I think are a better take specifically on security. All right, we're getting close to the 2-day mark, which means there's not much left to go. Toyota, Yamaha, and BYD, the Chinese car company, they accept Tether in Bolivia. It's a strange place. Bolivia is great, sorry. Oh, the country's US dollar shortage. That's interesting. Shout out to Reserve Protocol, by the way. That's the reason why they started their anchors in Latin America, to solve problems like this, to have baskets of stablecoins that can be accepted for, for everyday tender. This is good to hear. Good for this guy. Yeah, for guys who if you don't know, Aster is not a new protocol. They've just kind of rebranded and relaunched it with CZ's money, with YZ Labs backing them to try and create the I really don't want to call it Chyper Liquid, because that's what somebody else called it. I was just like, But it's meant to kind of be the CZ's answer to Hyperliquid. All right, I'll give this take. If Aster and Binance are willing to work together so that anything that is on Aster is going to be accessible by every protocol on BNB chain, they may have something. Because that's what Hyper EVM is to Hypercore, and Hyper EVM is fantastic. And it's got all the juice right now. But then that means that people have to come back and use BNB chain, and they could have something. I'm not going to fade him too hard. But good for this guy. May their profitability continue. Really? YZ Labs has got... Oh. Okay, so they bought more ENA. Sensible. I'm an ENA holder. I'm an ENA DCAer for full transparency. Last week in DeFi, Boros launches V1. Yep, that's old actually. Really? Cannabis firm Flora Growth launches a $401 million treasury backing. I mean, why not make this a $420 million treasury? Come on, Flora Growth, get with the program. To support Zero Gravity, or OG, a decentralized AI blockchain, trading 107 billion token parameter models. So it's AI training. Interesting. I mean, All right, what is ICP doing here? I think it was ICP who I met in at BTC 2025 in Vegas. They provide some interesting insight to me that I was not expecting, and that ICP been spending a lot of money on R&D for the last 3 or 4 years. Just all kinds of interesting. They're behind. Is it illiquidity? Illiquidity.wtf? I have that wrong. I'm pretty sure I do. But it allows really interesting cross-chain liquidity between multiple blockchains using ICP as the including BTC layer 1 and layer 2 things, using ICP as the base framework. Maybe ICP pulls a near. When I say near, I mean near blockchain, where they're doing more intent and cross-chain interoperability. I mean, there's a great market for that. There's a great demand for that. All right, what is Tolly saying today? Bitcoin must upgrade to survive quantum. Yes, that's correct. I think what was interesting is that Alex on Chain tweeted about this because I guess his team was responsible for the password reset for Kevin Durant. And frankly, this is a case for not your keys, not your crypto. Is it right? Am I not right there? Granted, there are a lot of people who still have quote unquote Bitcoin on quote unquote hard drives, thinking that's kind of where their stuff has, and based on how it used to work, that kind of is the case. But with regards to overall blockchain these days, I mean, had you had this in a hardware wallet or something like that, there wouldn't be an issue. But good for him. He probably bought a decent amount of Bitcoin with his salary back about 10 years ago. All right, I need to grab that one. All right, let's keep going here, guys. Again, thanks for being with me here on the Work With Me stream. This is where I stream my research. It holds me accountable because this is something that gets put out to our membership every Monday. What's called our Beacon Digest. I mean, this is a clickbait headline. They were already on Hypercore, right? Because to onboard into Hyperliquid period, you have to put native USDC up on Arbitrum. So that's clickbait. But no, they have CCTP v2 now on HyperEVM as well. So that's good to see. And then you're gonna have everybody who missed out to native markets. So Athena, Paxos, Frax, pretty much everybody and their mom is now going to be putting a stablecoin out on Hyperliquid, not to spite what's going on with native markets, but I mean, most of them already bought the tickers, so why not deploy, right? So we'll see what native markets can do. The fate for that was sealed when two gigantic, like 20+ million hype whales signaled they were going to vote for him. So I mean, once that happened, they knew the vote was over. I mean, that's a bit of an obvious statement, right? It'll be interesting though. Like, let's say that we do have a global crisis and suddenly all of the assets that these crypto treasuries are holding goes badly. Like, for example, let's say something, and I'm not calling for this, right? Let's just say that something like what happened, in 2021 happens, and we're in a situation where 2022, sorry, and we're in a situation where Bitcoin falls from 114 down to possibly staring 30K Bitcoin again in the face, and let's say that all these other assets drop 90% from where they are. This is why we talk about having an all-weather portfolio, by the way, because your portfolio should be able to survive a lot of these movements in either direction, by the way. Yeah, I mean, of course, you have to have a long-term strategy. Yes, this is cyclical, right? Will it be a 4-year cycle? No, I don't think so. Could be a longer cycle now with all of this movement and pro crypto administrative stuff that's coming through. I don't see the next administration coming in after Trump wanting to change that, especially if it brings like some type of prosperity. 18 months from now, we're just gonna have to get there to know. That's the way that I look at it. But yeah, I mean, if you look at it, the idea that, and because again, bull markets make you rich, bear markets make you wealthy. I'm not saying all this just to drop like motivational things we tell people. But I mean, if this is the future, why would they sell? If anything, they'd buy more. So then, it would take an interesting event to cause the market to really flip-flop the way they did. And most of these companies would, because this is a large strategy for them, would they sell into resistance to try and save themselves? I don't know. It'll be interesting to see what happens though. BitGo's going to file for a US IPO. Oh, I forgot they're doing the WLD1, their USD1 stablecoin. I mean, this could be interesting. Would I buy that IPO? I don't think so. But for a lot of people, it's more about, do they want exposure to that type of industry? I think for most people, and what we saw from the Circle IPO, the Gemini IPO, the answer is resoundingly yes. Crypto IPOs seem to have a lot of teeth to them. So, because ETFs may not be enough for most people. Justin Sun pledges Sun buybacks with Sun Perp revenue. Really, Sun Perp is now the Tron DEX. I mean, we don't do a lot of Tron in our content. Most OGs have an interesting opinion of Justin Sun. I personally don't use Tron. You never know. You never know. To be fair, there's like more than 200 active blockchains. We try and stick with the 5 to 6 that are the most active based on what we feel are our strategic course of for content. Doesn't mean Tron couldn't be a part of that opportunity, but we need to find better onboards into Tron for that. Hyper NFT floor hits $100,000. Good for them. And that kind of leads to, so that's the other part of this, right? And not to disparage any of the big projects that people are yapping about there, but it's like, how much of the activity that we're seeing out there for most of these specific protocols is organic, right? How much of it is just literally people sending $50 back and forth? And how much of it is really people trying to use the actual index, or just the actual trading floor, or the actual utility of the protocol? I mean, would you call it market manipulation? Would you call the flash crash from not that long ago, or the issue with what we've had this weekend, market manipulation? Some of this is just silliness. in any case, we're super early to this, right? All of this is so experimental. We're super early. A lot of what's going to happen, we'll see what cream rises to the top at some point. Is $300 sol realistic? Yes, I think $500 sol is definitely on the table. Maybe $1,000 sol, depending on how things work out. I think Solana and Base having a good two-way bridge for token liquidity is good for both ecosystems and can only push expectations higher. And on the 18th. I mean, I personally don't think you need evidence or like analyst evidence to tell you that Sol is going to continue to go higher. Really? That's a good partnership for them with Flowdesk for sure. Flowdesk. Okay, we'll skim through here just to see if there's anything particular I missed. Oh, I mean, I responded to this tweet. I asked if they could just make this a snap because I already have access to 2 other wallets that do this already. Why do I need a third? To be fair, it's fine. There's still plenty of people who use MetaMask. We recommend Rabby for EVM for everybody. It's just easier. The gas account is the game changer. Until every wallet has a gas account where you can pay for transactions on EVM with any wallet address with a seed phrase or any hardware wallet tied to it with stable coins. That's just the game changer in my opinion. Plus it's a good user experience, very readable. MetaMask is not. MetaMask, you still have to add chains for the most part. Actually, you don't have to as much anymore, but still, it's not as intuitive. I think this would be a good feature inside a MetaMask portfolio. That's the one thing Rabby doesn't have built in. But they kind of don't need to because they're built by DBank. So there's that. We also have news of MetaMask wanting to do a token, and it's not in here, with Joe Lubin talking about a token, and then Rabby responded with their own market cap question, and then Phantom, of course, is long rumored for a wallet token. I still don't know what the point is of having a wallet token. That's just me. If it's really just to thank the users for, using your stuff, since you've been charging, a quarter to 7/8 per transaction per swap within the wallet, sure. But still, I need to be sold on what that token's utility actually is. Well, this is interesting. I do need to look into Flare. If anybody from the Flare team is listening, I'd love to get together to collab on some guides to help onboard a lot of our members into Flare, because we do have multiple members. Actually, I take that back. The vast majority of our community holds XRP, and the ability to have their XRP work for them in a manner that is fairly safe and doesn't look ridiculous is important. And what I've seen so far in XRPL, even though I met with Ripple this time last year, not a lot that I'm, really seeing. If anything, the marketing hasn't been there, in my opinion, to help drive people to XRPL. And maybe that's by design, frankly. But Flare, as a blockchain, is doing some things. So excited to kind of see what happens here. A lot of people ask what I think of Flare. I'm like, it's another L1 that's out there. Hopefully they can find the right product market fit and get people to start using their blockchain, because that's really the key. If you can't get people to inflow into your blockchain to use it, then what are we doing? Besides burning backed funds. but hopefully they can find a way to make it decent. Okay, so oh no, is this why? Oh, uh-huh. Guys, I talk about Bank of Japan fairly often, and this is why. There's a lot of money tied up in a yen carry trade. And when risk markets get spooked like this, it does move over into DeFi or into crypto. We'll see. See what happens here. Oh, Fusaka is early. It's super early. So the next hard fork for Ethereum, which is the Fusaka upgrade, for December 3rd. I honestly didn't think we'd see. Oh well, I guess so. Yeah, I guess so. Because the next one after that is what, Glamsterdam? I was not expecting this already. Well, maybe I should have been. Now that I think about it, I'll grab that. That's news. And then anything past there is getting older and stuff that we've probably already have lined up. Okay, let's move on to Google News. And for Google News, I just do a quick crypto. See if there's anything here that looks interesting. We've already talked about the majority of this. Your phone gets stolen, your crypto maybe next. And this is another reason why we don't like doing mobile on DeFi. I mean, that doesn't mean you can't do it. Like if you have to do swaps and stuff, in a hurry, that's fine. But the attack vectors are just so much easier on mobile. SEC opened door to more crypto products. All right, this isn't news. Be careful for scams out there, guys. There's another one that is. I'm assuming I know which one this is going to be. Nope, this is Coinbase. That's on Coinbase. There's another one. I'll have to look through my bookmarks, but just be very careful. I've seen one for GitHub. That one is more for developers. Watch out for that. But yeah, just watch out for when they're getting really good, guys. When they reach out to you, question everyone's intentions. I get people all the time who want to come on my shows or want me to come on their shows, and I'm just like, that's great, because I mean, oftentimes they're representing reputable people, but then you go check out the history of the account, and they've flopped their name a couple times. I'm just like, So what turned out to be like really exciting, really just turned out to be, oh, they're just trying to scam. Be careful. Yeah, 401k news. This is important for U.S. investors. Well, there's an EO for having 401k. this doesn't really have to say a whole lot. The advocacy group Stand With Crypto has more than 45,000 engaged crypto advocates in Michigan. That's a lot of people, Coinbase. Stand With Crypto is from Coinbase, by the way. And yes, if you check out my most recent article that I have on my Twitter, this is one thing that people need to remember. Unlike a normal wallet, which can hold actual cash, crypto wallets technically don't store your crypto. We have a security exam in our mastermind that people have to take, and people often get this question wrong. They think that the device, the hardware wallet that has their money, actually has it in there. It does not. The only thing it does store is the actual seed phrase or the private key, so that it can verify if you're looking to recover it or something like that. From that, storing it also is allowed to also generate multiple wallet addresses based off of that private key across multiple different blockchain ecosystems. So your money will always be a bunch of ones and zeros on the blockchain. All that wallets do, whether it's Rabby, MetaMask, Phantom, it just approves the transaction you're trying to make. That's all it's doing. When it comes to your hardware wallet, it just provides a second factor of authentication. Like, you have to literally plug it in and press the button in order for the approval to go through. That's all that it's doing. So keep that in mind. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, go check out my pinned article on my Twitter. And also, with regards to that, feel free to check out my other articles, because my goal is to try and onboard as many people into our decentralized ecosystem, our Web3, our DeFi system, as much as possible, because there's so much potential here for you guys. But my wife was telling me about, she was looking at her TikTok feed last night. People are spreading, about people getting their banks taken away. They're getting, their accounts frozen and stuff like that. I mean, that can also happen with centralized stablecoins like USDC and USDT and others. But when you're in Web3, when you're in DeFi, it's your keys, your crypto. You own your assets. There are most people who are in our circle, in our group, that are what we call bankless. They don't actually have a bank in a country. They have multiple banks that they can use to move money to multiple places. So, all right, we got about 10 minutes left, guys, roughly, for the stream. There really isn't a ton of things to really talk about that's left. So we'll check out Llama Feed, which is from DeFi Llama, really great source of truth here in the space. And we go through the news and the tweets section, just to make sure there isn't something that we're missing. There it is, BitMine, selling stock at $70 to raise additional money to buy on this dip. They're just going to buy it anyway. So. Really? So people are going from Hyperliquid to Aster. That's fun. It will all even itself out over time. Competition's good, guys. Obviously, tell that to someone like GMX. That's Hyperliquid sitting close to 3 billion, and GMX love them, by the way. They've kind of dipped down to under 500 million now. So competition's good, but you got to keep innovating. Oh, Vivek has Strive to buy Summer Scientific in an all-stock deal. The man sees what he's seeing. MetaMask's MUSD has raised 65 million in supply a week. Really? That is fascinating. Good for you guys. I don't personally use it because I think you can only use it within the wallet, but If I'm wrong, let me know. That's shout out to M0. I know they're the group working with MetaMask and Consensus on that. I don't need presidential tweets in the feed. The US president should not be the biggest KOL when it comes to DeFi. Interesting. And again, the whole Astra trade, it's asymmetric upside, right? Does Astra see a future where they're at $50 a coin? I have no idea. Considering their current market cap, that would be quite the jump, but Astra becomes the biggest BSC USDT holder apart from the Binance Hawk wallet, according to Arkham. That's from CZ. All right, we're at 3 days. Nothing really left outside of stuff that we've heard from last week. So we got a lot of things to kind of check there. I do have a lot of. I have programmed some aggregators to help with that type of stuff, but definitely want to check out the news from the last 72 hours. We'll do one last sweep here at the top with my RSS feed. We'll click this refresh button, see if there's anything in the last time we've been on. Well, this is interesting. The UK is also home to the BIS, which is like one of the biggest CBDC ISO 222 initiatives that's out there. They want CBDCs. Of course, none of us in DeFi are fans of CBDCs. We'll see exactly how this kind of runs down. But yeah, I'll take that. That's interesting. I saw something like that, and oftentimes I'll see things. I'm like, is that really real? Apparently it is. KTA back up. Good to them. Good for them. The U.S. steps in with a lifeline as Argentina battles peso turmoil. Interesting. And this is why we've been able to onboard a lot of people in Latin America, because they have they're tired of being in a hyperinflationary environment where they have severe currency debasement, and they want anti-fragile, censorship-resistant forms of tender at their disposal. So that's where stablecoins, frankly, do really well. All right, guys. That's it for today. Nothing else that's really on. So this is the Work With Me stream. We do this every Monday. Normally around 2 p.m. Eastern, but today I have a lot of things to do, so pushed it back an hour. We did the same last week. Maybe we move it to this time. But yeah, thanks everybody who's tuned in. Thank you to there's quite a few people here watching me work. So hopefully you're also working and doing whatever you need to. So anything I can do to make this stream better for you, please let me know. Feel free to reach out. Feel free to follow, like, subscribe. Help the algo see this type of information. And if this is interesting to you, please join our free group, school.com/beacon. Absolutely free. Learn more about what we do at Beacon DeFi. Right here on my hat, right here behind me. And helping to onboard more people into DeFi to just give you an option to have your crypto working for you. And really, that's the big thing. If you're holding it in a wallet, it's fine to hold it, but if you want to take a portion of that, have it work for you, so you actually can continue to have like this flywheel of profits moving back and forth, so you can acquire more of that asset. That's something that we absolutely specialize in. And you can learn from the best in the business. Get mentored by me personally when you join our group. So if that's interesting to you, please feel free to join school.com/beacon. We have a lot of free content. Of course, we have access to our paid offerings as well, whether it be our Beacon Mastermind, or if you want the best of the best. And then we also have our Beacon Challenge, where you can go and earn your first dollar in DeFi within 48 hours. We have information for that. So take care, everybody, and continue to keep working on this Monday. Hopefully the market will recover quickly. We see a decent V shape on the back side of this. And tomorrow's another day. Take care. Have a great day. Peace.